Thank you, Sam. So the question everybody wants answered is this monster called corruption now becoming a national culture, Yvonne?
It looks like it is, and of course from all the views we've seen coming in on social media, many people seem to agree. These are just some of the big ones, and we want to take a look at some of them, so many, but want to highlight some of the ones we feel were the biggest in Kenya's history today. And let's start off by taking a look at the one that is infamous. And that's the Goldenberg scam. Now, what we're doing is taking a look at these amounts and these figures. Now, this is the figure that we're dealing with for the Goldenberg scandal. 54.6 billion shillings. This is the amount valued at today's dollar exchange rate. It was 600 million US dollars when this scandal first broke out decades ago. Now, the objective of Goldenberg, this is what it was all about. The company was supposed to import and export any and all types of minerals, including gold, silver, and diamonds. And they took advantage of the export compensation scheme that was put in place by the CBK. And even to date, there is no evidence that the company ever engaged in any mining of gold and diamonds, the two minerals they were supposed to be exporting. And that is the man, Kamlesh Patni, who was at the center of it all. He took advantage of a monopoly. He was supposed to get 20% compensation from CBK for this exportation. He ended up getting 35%, and that is what resulted in the $600 million figure. We want to move to the other one, which is what is in the spotlight right now, and that is the Anglo leasing scandal. This involved about 18 security contracts, and that is the figure that you, the taxpayer, have borne for this so far. 1.4 billion shillings, you'll remember, was paid out by the government last year to Anglo Leasing Finance. At the time, Cabinet Secretary for Finance, Henry Rotich, did say that if we did not settle this amount that was awarded by a court, we would be incurring an interest of 260,000 shillings every month. If you recall, after that, Anura Pereira made another claim of 3 billion shillings, which the government said they would not pay. Now, this was all phantom companies. What was Anglo Leasing about? It was all ostensibly to build a forensics lab to provide or supply naval warships, as well as to get us a sophisticated passport printing system that will perhaps help to keep our borders secure in terms of the people that are coming in. All of these projects, of course, you know, were not to be, and like you've seen in the reports we've had earlier, those who are thought to be responsible have been arraigned in court. Let's take you a little back further in time. Now, the next scandal was all about oil, and that is the Triton scandal. What amount of monies are we talking about when it comes to the Triton scandal? You'll see that in just a bit. 7.6 billion shillings. This figure we got from an Africog analysis report, and this is what they say we stand to lose in case of the lawsuits that have been filed. This is what it was. Yagnesh Devani, who is the man that owned Triton Oil Company, was able to have oil removed from the Kenya Pipeline Company reserves. It was stocks worth 126.4 million shillings. This was done without the consent of the financiers, and they're now suing the Kenya Pipeline Company. This, of course, resulted in the fuel shortage that we saw in 2008. This company was essentially allowed to keep more oil reserves than its market share. Many said it was doing this because of speculation, and that would lead to shortage, and of course, as well as a hike in oil prices. Let's remind you that Yagnesh Devani is being tried in absentia in the country. We want to move now to another one, because what's now beginning to happen is that corruption is not just something that is happening in the government. There's collusion with the private sector as well. That takes us to this latest one. This is something that has been tried not here, but in United States of America. The Securities Exchange Commission fined a company, that is Goodyear Tires, its subsidiary, Kenyan subsidiary is Trendsetters. They fined them 1 billion shillings. Why? Because 136 million shillings was given to unnamed officials in various parastatals in the country so that they could award the tender of supply to Goodyear Tires. So this is the amount of money that was involved in this Rubbergate scandal, and this is exactly what happened. Now, that amount of money, 136 million, were bribes paid to Kenya Ports Authority and Zoya Sugar Company, Kenya Air Force officials there between the years of 2007 and 2011. Plus, let's also mention there was 1.3 million shillings that was also paid to local government officials, including the Nairobi County. Now, Mumo Matemu, by the way, says the EACC is aware of this ruling, but they have not released a statement. They say they will release one in due course, and that is causing a bit of friction because all of these investigations are being done abroad. People are being found guilty. The same does not happen here. Here's another scandal that's involving collusion between private sector and government. The famous Chicken Gate scandal. 50 million shillings was the total amount of money paid in bribes, which was referred to as chicken, hence the term Chicken Gate. Now, this scandal came to light after a 4-year investigation by the Serious Fraud Office in the United Kingdom. It involved the printing of examination certificates and, of course, ballot papers. IIEC at the time, it was the Independent Interim Electoral Commission and the National Examination Council. We know of 2 officials that were jailed in the UK last year. The investigations here are still going on, and of course those who are said to have been implicated include the chair, Isaac Hassan, the CEO, former James Oswago, and the former NEC boss, Paul Wasanga. Now, these are just some of those, and the question, of course, that we continue to ask is, will we see big people being brought to book in terms of what's happening with corruption in the country? Is it becoming part of our national culture? We look forward to your feedback on that. Ben?